Hi, I'm Bethany Martinez, a real estate agent here in South Florida, and I'm with Related ISG. I am also on the YPN Leadership Council for the Miami Association of Realtors, and today I'm with a friend, also a fellow realtor in the industry, and she's also a YPN member as well.
I'm Natalie Rivero. I'm with Lifestyle International Realty. I am also a Miami native, and I'm a local realtor.
Yeah. So the reason for this video is because I invited Natalie to come and do basically an overview on what she does in her buyer's consultations. I have my own version of them, but we also follow each other on social media, and we've always, asked each other questions about how we can be better agents. So I wanted her to take us through her buyer's consultations. You're always doing them, and I feel like you do them so well. And I know a lot of people are asking me from time to time, like listing presentations, buyer's presentations. So just literally share us. Tell me how you go through a buyer's presentation. What is it about, and what do you think sets yourself apart when you do it?
So I definitely decided to start doing buyer's consultations when, it's trial and error. In the beginning, it was very dry, everything over the phone, trying to get your personality across through the phone, which is very difficult. So I figured that if I can get in front of these people, especially when they're leads that are not referred by someone who knows you, who can speak highly of you, getting in front of them is definitely super important. You get your personality across, you build the relationship, you build a rapport, you can, sit there and get a little joke in and, make sure that they trust you, and you build that trust with them, and they'll never leave you.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you deal with cold leads, right?
Yes.
Because, internet leads and maybe, people who don't know you at all. For someone like me, I deal a lot with like my circle of influence and referrals. So most of the time we do know each other, but I guess that's a really good way to break the ice and get to know somebody and build that trust when you really don't know that buyer at all.
Yeah, 100%.
So tell me, how do you set, from, let's say you get a cold lead with a buyer that you don't really know, how did you take it from there?
You'll get a lot of resistance sometimes, because we're in a day and age where everyone wants to do everything via the internet or via the phone, but I definitely, I tell them, come in, let's sit down, I'll come to you. And obviously I would like to do it in my office, but if not, I've driven to their houses. I sit down with my I'll tell them I'll sit down with my computer, I'll guide you through the whole thing. So usually that works, and I get them to set an appointment. I come to the house, I bring my computer and my hotspot. You don't want to be asking them for their Wi-Fi password. So I sit down with them.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. I sit down with them and I let them know right off the bat the importance of the pre-approval. At this point, I'll already know whether they've spoken to a lender or not. So I'll sit down, I'll explain to them, look, your first step is getting pre-approved. Sometimes you get a lot of them that want to start going out to see properties without a pre-approval letter. A lot of times I'll tell them, listen, their listing agents won't even show if you're not pre-approved.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why it's important to get a pre-approval letter.
Right.
One, listing agents don't want to waste their time.
Absolutely.
Two, you want to make sure that they're financially fit to even do that.
Right.
A lot of times they say they are, and they say that they have the money, but we're not, that's not our profession. We pass that down to someone who can do a thorough investigation.
Right. I explain to them that it's like going shopping without knowing how much money is in your bank account.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's not feasible.
Put it
You
on the
shouldn't
credit card.
anyway. And not only that, I explain the importance, because I don't want them to fall in love with a property that they can't afford, or that they're looking at properties that they can be over. They can afford something a little bit nicer. So if we go in there blind, what are we looking at?
True.
So it's I stress it like crazy, and then if they haven't spoken to a lender or they don't know anyone, I always push my team. I explain to them, I've worked with them, I know how they work, they're great, so I sit there and I help them, guide them. I don't want to say I manipulate them to it, but I guide them and I stress the importance of it. Once they either agree to speak to my lender, or if they already have someone or they come from my lender that they've spoken to, usually they'll have an email or something in their inbox letting them know what the next steps are.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once they open that, I try to expedite the process to get into the email and help them do the credit application, the mortgage application, and then if it's my preferred lender, I know that the third step is the documents that they need to submit.
The lender's also involved too, though, right? Guiding them every step of the way. But you like to get involved in that process as well? Do you not pass it over? Because I know sometimes we just like to pass that part over and let them do it.
I do, but because it's my file and I want my file to get done as soon as possible and have that number, like, as to what they can afford ASAP. I know that they do, and I know that they call, and I know that they try to help over the phone, but if you're in front of them and you can handle it right then and there at the table, why not do it then? You're expediting the process, you're gonna get your pre-approval faster, and it just works.
So you're really involved in all aspects.
I try to be.
Okay, that's
like I like
good.
to take control.
Well, that's good. Some of these buyers, it's their first time buying a home, so they really don't know what the process is. So I think that's why it's important that we're educated to you're not going to be the lender and approve them, but to know the process of it to help them get through it faster.
Yeah.
All right, so then after getting pre-approved,
right,
then what's next?
So after helping them with the email, with the steps, if you have the opportunity to do so at the table, I jump into why are you moving? Like, why do you want to buy? Either they're renting and they just want to own something, or, the wife is pregnant, or they're downsizing. There's always a reason, and there should be a motivation, because then you know how serious they are. That's number one. Number two is, how long have you been looking? Did you just start looking? Did you speak to someone before me? I want to know all of this to know.
Were you working with another realtor?
Yeah. Are you currently working with another realtor?
Why are you not working with that realtor anymore? Those are all important questions that you need to get out in the beginning.
For sure. Then start, what area do you want to be in? A lot of times we're in Miami, every Hispanic wants to be in Hialeah. So you get that a lot. And, but they're not open to other markets that could be a possibility for them.
Because they just don't know.
They just don't know, right? So a lot of times I'll suggest surrounding areas that they're like, oh, I didn't think of that, or yeah, that would work too. Kind of opening their mind to other things. Once I find out the area, then, lastly, I ask them, okay, write down, take out a sheet of paper. We're going to do a little school project. What are your wants and what are your needs? I get both husband and wife to write down separately their wants and their needs.
If it's husband and wife.
Yeah, if it's one
right, person.
Right. I get them to write it down, wants and needs. And I like to see this only because when we go out and start shopping, then you get no, but it doesn't have this. Well, okay. That's not what you said you wanted. That was a need. That was a want. So are we revisiting? Are we changing this? Is this a need? So buyers
That's different. I've never thought of that.
It works because they get so caught up and, in what they're seeing and the excitement, and, it has just worked for me because it has happened to me so many times.
That's it. So you use from your experience the things that have happened to you, you can tweak it along the way and make every, the next buyer better.
Yeah, I've learned to do it that way only because, you don't want to be the realtor that's not giving the good service, the great service. What separates us is our service. So you want to be one of the ones that they're, everyone's saying, well, she was amazing. She did this for me. She did that for me. She went above and beyond.
That's so good. I'm going to write that down. The wants and needs. That's really, really good. So, okay, so then after that, wants and needs, and then at that point, we're coming towards like the getting ready to search. Right.
So I like to show them what's currently on the market as far as what they're telling me that they have or what they want. So I open up my little laptop, I go through it with them. I should take the opportunity to show them the portal. The Matrix, has a
portal with the Matrix, which is really important. I think it's a great tool that we have.
Right. So I go through that with them. I show them that you press a little hard, shows me you love it. You can trash it, you can organize it.
I love that part.
Oh, it's the best.
Because through the portal, they're able to get these notifications when a property hits the market right away. And then they see it, we see it. and then they can either favorite it or trash it.
Right.
And that way, like if they're in bed laying down together at night and they're looking through properties, they're able to just favorite the ones that they like, and we can see it on our end. So when we wake up in the morning, we're like, oh, they were looking through their portal, look, these are the properties that they like, and then we can start like, you know, organizing it and searching it. That's like one of the best tools. I love it. I use it all the time.
Right. I love it. I also like to put them on the automated system. You know, it lets them know that I'm working for them all the time.
Plus, I mean, it's a competitive market. Like, we're not going to be on the MLS every day looking at what's hitting the market. So you're able to set up the automated search where you, as soon as a property in their criteria hits the market, you get a notification, they get a notification, and that way you're not wasting a minute. Because when a good property hits the market, it flies. So we got to be a step ahead and use all these little tools that our board gives us through the MLS and the things that we're learning to, you know, to make sure that we're a step ahead.
Right. And I try to explain that to them. You know, you will be on the automated system. The moment a property hits the market, you will have it in your inbox. And I tell them, you know, this is just so that we don't skip a step. You know, you have everything. But I also let them know that with the automated, you can't filter as much. So for example, if you were to tell me, look, Natalie, I don't want a property that needs work. I need one that's just turnkey. I kind of have to see the pictures.
Yeah.
So you will have them in your portal where you have to sort through when it comes to those.
Fine.
But yeah,
Right.
I've never gotten any resistance for that, so that's fine.
That's so good. So then after that, basically, we're now here at the search. We're looking for properties. What else do buyers need to be aware of, or maybe agents when dealing with this?
So I let the client know that every realtor has access to the same properties. We all see them on the MLS. We're all going to see the same thing. There's no, you know, difference one from the other. I also tell them there's a common misconception that the client thinks that if you go straight to the listing agent,
that they're going to give you a better deal.
I'm like, our duty to our license is to make sure that all of the offers get presented to the seller. So if you have a great offer, great, but that doesn't mean that because you went through the listing agent that your offer is going to get pushed.
Yeah.
And then I kind of use the whole, like, you know, if you go to court, do you want an attorney who's representing both sides to represent you?
Absolutely not.
You want your own representation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I use that all the time.
I think sometimes buyers think that they'll save money by going directly to the listing agent, but what they may not understand is that the listing agent has a duty to protect and act on behalf of the seller, not you.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they already have a listing agreement in place with the seller, and they're going to do what's right for the seller. And if you don't have anybody representing you, you don't have anyone looking out for your better half. And chances are there's a commission that's due to be split two ways, right, for the listing agent and the buyer's agent. And by cutting out, let's say, the buyer's agent, we're just giving both sides of the commission to the listing side. There really is no guarantee that they're going to give you a better deal, and then you're not even getting protected. So I feel like maybe if we explain that in the beginning of a buyer's consultation, like thoroughly explaining it to them, that you'll understand it's not good to skip out that process. Let us do our job. Everybody, and that's why we're here, buyer's agent, seller's agent, and that's why the commission is the way that it is. And the commission is negotiated way before the property even gets on the market.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of the time we're just giving it away to both sides of the commission to the selling listing agent without really even thinking about it. You know,
absolutely. I also make sure the client knows that any properties that they see on the internet, that they get sent to me.
Really important. Telling them whatever you find on Zillow, whatever you find on Redfin, whatever you're looking for, just send it to me.
All the time. Don't call the agent that's on there. You're gonna cut me out of the deal because they don't know how we work. A lot of them don't even know we get paid off a commission.
Yeah. Which is really unfortunate. That's why that communication has to be so clear.
Right.
Or even when dealing with pre-construction.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the time, I'll be looking with a client. Will be looking at one totally different market, and then they'll go and see a pre-construction on their own. I always try to tell them, listen, even when it's a pre-construction site, call me. We'll schedule it. We'll go together. Because once you register, once your buyer's registered directly with the pre-construction site, that's it. You're done. You know, now you have to hope and pray that they're not going to buy that property because you're not going to get paid for it.
Absolutely.
So all of those details, letting them know how serious this really is, that we're willing to work on their behalf. And I think like following up and being responsive, building that trust.
Even same thing goes with letting them know if they show up to an open house.
Yeah.
I tell them to sign in my name and my information.
That's
and they
smart.
have
That's really smart.
They
And
leave
then
the
you give
buyer's
them your
consultation with my
cards?
cards.
That's so good.
Yeah. So that there's no misunderstandings.
That's
they belong to me.
So I recently took a buyer's designation at the Realtors Association, which I think is amazing. So if anybody started just getting into the industry and just dealing with buyers, or maybe you've never even dealt with a buyer, try to take this course. It's so good, and I wish I would have took it in the beginning of my career, and it gives us so many tips on how to deal with buyers. It actually talked about creating a little package that you can put together to deliver to your buyer and insert things like your resume, your credentials, what you've done, and then maybe just like step by steps, like all the steps that you said,
Right.
putting them down on a sheet of paper so your buyer can actually see it. And then another thing that they discussed was a buyer broker agreement. And I feel like this is a big topic amongst realtors. Do you use one? Do you not? Do you even know what that is?
I didn't know what that was in the beginning.
Right? I didn't either until I heard horror stories of other agents who have gotten screwed over or cut out of commissions because they had no agreement in place, and a client just simply decided to go behind their back or use someone else, which is what can you do at that point? You know, this is like a trust relationship. So the buyer broker agreement actually has your client commit to you. You sign this agreement saying that we're gonna work together for this amount of time, and my time is a value. And if you decide to go around me or without me, I'm gonna be due a commission, however it gets paid. So do you see yourself using one, or have you?
I've never used one, but I definitely think that at some point I need to start. Only because I feel that my service has gotten better from when I first started. I always felt that you shouldn't be forced to use me if I'm providing bad service, and that's why I never did one. But then obviously then you have the horror stories of someone who's really pouring their heart and soul into this client, and the client just leaves them for no reason.
Or just decided they didn't know any better. I mean, but that's the whole point of the consultation, to really, at that point when you've discussed everything with them, what can they say?
Right.
And if you're willing to do everything for your client, maybe they should understand that signing this is only for the best interest of both of you. Because by signing this agreement, I'm committed to working with you and you're committed to working with me. So let's hold each other accountable this year
We're gonna
to
do
make
it.
sure that we get buyers broker agreement signed.
We're gonna do
And we
it.
encourage everybody else too, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's Informed Simplicity. It's a document that's standard and everybody uses it. But if you're starting off your career and haven't even looked at one, try. Don't wait till you're 5 years into
Or someone leaves you.
or till someone leaves you for you to decide to do it. So I'm going to start implementing them, and I'm also working on creating a buyer's consultation packet that I can deliver. That's something that's, because every buyer, they're not always going to be the same, but they all need to know pretty much the same basic information.
Yeah, and I like to tell my clients, my job is to make sure that you know everything beforehand, before it happens. So if we can provide that in a packet, then it's really, you're showing them and teaching them beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there any maybe tricks or secrets or something that you can give us that you think you do that maybe no one else does, or maybe something just sets you apart?
I really feel that I make myself relatable to the client. I make myself accessible to the client all the time. Like I tell my clients, I do this around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sometimes they'll call me at 11 o'clock at night.
Which is
and then
boundaries.
it's, yeah.
Okay.
And then it's my fault because I said that and they took it literal. But I really do try to build a friendship with my client. Like even my female clients, I tell them we're embarking on a journey. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster. We may even cry together. Hopefully not, but it can happen. It's just build a friendship with them, because really I've stayed in contact with a lot of my clients.
Right? It ends up becoming family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Bethany, for having me.
I'm so happy that you decided to come and share all your information with me, and I hope everybody finds this video valuable. Really, we just want to give back to our real estate community and to all the agents and possibly all the new clients that we can get. And we look forward to doing more videos with you and sharing everything that we've learned.
Absolutely.
And if you haven't taken any classes at the association, make sure to do so. And if you're a realtor in another market, I'm pretty sure your association has classes to offer. They're the best. I highly recommend doing the designations. The accredited buyers is the ABR, and it was super beneficial, and it ties into everything that we discussed today. So, all right, well, Bethany Martinez,
Natalie Rivero.
have a great day.